What question?
The average salaries of police officers is a bone of contention, I think, for the Metro Department. Do you know what it is, how it ranks nationally, the average salary of a Metro officer?
No, I can't sit here and speak really credibly about how Metro police officer salaries rank nationally, because there's so much disparity. There's so much disparity. If you look at the New York Police Department, where they have 30,000 cops, they're starting those guys and gals at about $28,000, $30,000 a year. So the best way to do it is to compare the salaries that Metro officers are paid against other officers that are similarly situated in the southwestern region of the United States. So you look at Los Angeles, and sorry to turn my back on you, but trying to spread it around. LAPD officers make a little more starting out than Metro officers because the cost of living there is higher. You get closer to home, you look at what cops are paid in North Las Vegas and Henderson. And again, there's a continuum too. A cop, when they're first hired, is over here on the pay scale. But after they've been there for a few years, they're making a little more money. And so when you line up different police departments, at different points along the continuum, some are making more than others, some are making less than others. Metro is behind the curve with regard to North Las Vegas and with regard to Henderson. And so I never say that I'm opposed to police officers being paid a decent wage. They do an extremely difficult and at times dangerous job. So I'm all for them getting the money that they deserve. But I think in order to get it for them, in order to get that for them, we have to be good stewards of the money that we're given to run the Metropolitan Police Department. And that means that we don't waste it on unnecessary administrative costs, that we don't waste it on improper, unethical, or unnecessary costs built into collective bargaining. I'll give you just two quick examples if I could. People that I talk to don't like it when they hear that the taxpayer spends $2 million a year to pay the full-time salaries of every single full-time police union representative at Metro. $2 million a year. So I firmly believe that when you have strong independent leadership in there that represents the interests of the community first, one of the first things we're going to do is have a real negotiation across that table about starting to back that up, pull that back a little bit. Why should the president of the PPA, president of PMSA, the chief lobbyist for the PPA be paid by the taxpayer to push legislation that is going to cost taxpayers more money? And there are other things in that process that have to be addressed too. So they should be the priority instead of at the bottom of the list.
Sheriff Gillespie's position on the Bundy thing, what's your opinion of that? Would you have done it differently? Do you agree?
Sheriff Gillespie's position on the Bundy thing. I think, what was his position? Nothing, right? He did nothing.
Well, he came in and bargained, did he?
No, there was some information pushed out by Channel 8 on Friday that he had come in and negotiated some kind of a settlement, which was absolute nonsense. He did not. The BLM was quoted in the paper on Saturday saying that they had not discussed anything with Sheriff Gillespie. Now, in March of 2012, when the feds were here before getting ready to do this, I was the assistant sheriff for operations, and I talked to the feds multiple times. I came out here and met with Cliven Bundy, so I was somewhat familiar with how all this process works. This time, the sheriff was nowhere to be seen until the very last minute when this thing almost went sideways. Saturday morning, and not a lot of people know this, Metro SWAT team was sent out towards Mesquite. Now, thank God that team didn't have to come out here and go to work because it's lose-lose no matter what happens. So that's Gillespie's position. Here's my position. The sheriff needs to stand up and demonstrate strong leadership in these situations. This isn't about whether you agree with Cliven Bundy or you don't. All of us in here know that this thing's been in the federal court since 1993, and Mr. Bundy has lost every single time he's been to court. He wasn't very different from other Nevada ranchers and other southwestern region ranchers until he decided to, quote, fire the federal government and stop paying his grazing fees. When he did that, he made himself vulnerable to legal attack. They attacked and they won. All right? Now, the sheriff needs to draw attention to the bigger issues, which really have to do with Nevada states' rights. When Nevada was granted statehood, Nevada received the lowest proportion of land appropriated from the federal government to the state of any other state in the United States. 70 million acres in the state of Nevada, and the federal government controls 60 million of those acres. Multiple federal agencies are involved in control of those acres. The BLM alone controls 48 million. So one of the questions that I would like to have answered is, why all of a sudden, in these last couple of years, is the BLM so doggone hot on a couple of 100,000 acres outside the state's largest, most populous city? There are other issues that need to be discussed, and it does come down to the right of the state and the citizens of the state of Nevada to self-determination and to have some say about how their lands are used. Even the state of Nevada. And one last thing, even the state of Nevada in 1995, the legislature, the Senate, and the Assembly passed a resolution asking the federal government to consider removing the ordinance in the Constitution that whereby the state of Nevada forever waived its right to claim title to unappropriated federal lands. The federal government did not act on that resolution. Nothing's changed since then. So there are many, many issues in the mix here, but the sheriff's got to stand up and be a part of the education process for people.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.